Hello one and all, it's My Hero Academia, Chapter 290, Dabi's Dance, and finally, we get the confirmation. Dabi is Toya. Dabi is the long-lost son of Endeavor, the brother of Shoto. Finally! I mean, seriously, people have been speculating about this basically since Dabi first showed up, since, the training arc with the cat heroes. They've been wondering, could he be Endeavor's son? And yes, finally it's confirmed. And there is just so much I freaking love about this chapter. And first, I really feel like I need to talk about, Endeavor's wife, Shoto's mother, Dabi's mother, Mrs. Todoroki. Because a lot of the times when people have always been speculating and wondering about Dabi, they've never really thought about her. And I just love that Horikoshi started the chapter with her because, she is the real victim in all of this. She was bought by Endeavor, sold by her family, forced to watch as her children were abused, as she was isolated. And now, as she's finally starting to recover, she's finally, gotten her marbles back together. She turns on the TV and sees her son, her long-lost son, the one she thought died years ago. His body is torn apart and shredded, scarred. He doesn't even look human anymore, and he announces that he has killed 30 people. All because of Endeavor, all because of what his father did to him. Oh, the doctor is actually worried that this might push back her release, and yeah, you think? If this does not cause a complete mental breakdown in this woman, then I really gotta start wondering if she's even human. That being said, though, I could actually see this going completely the other way, where once she sees this, once she realizes what's happened, she develops like a new resolve, a new determinism. She leaves the hospital immediately and goes right to her children to love them, support them, to help them get through this awful time and just be there for them when they need her the most. Because, she wasn't there to help little Toya and he'd be a murderous serial killer. I would absolutely love to see that happen for her. I think it'd be an amazing moment, but given her already fragile mental state, I'm not sure if that's all that likely. Though there was one part as real I was not a big fan of. I did love Endeavor doing the whole I'm the nation's top hero, I have to do this kind of thing, pumping himself up speech. Only for it then to be real that Dabi is his long-lost son, and I do just absolutely love him with white hair like that, but I don't like that he has to straight up say, I have a great name, call me Toya. I mean, they made such a big deal about, after Nomu fight where Endeavor's vision was blurry so he couldn't fully see Dabi. Like, oh, that's why he didn't recognize him as his son. I wanted Dabi to, stand in front of Endeavor, look him in the eyes, and for Endeavor to realize that this was his son, that this was what he made his son into. Instead, we just have Dabi saying, hey, I have a great name, call me Toya. And then just Endeavor and Shoto being literally speechless for the whole rest of the chapter. Anyway, small complaint, the rest of the chapter was absolutely amazing. I mean, this video he has, that he broadcasts to the entire freaking world. I mean, I was theorizing this last week that Dabi was gonna, give a whole speech to the world. I figured it'd be live. No, he had this whole thing planned out and recorded because he knew something like this was gonna happen sooner or later. Some moment where he could just absolutely, truly destroy the #1 hero. And he did. Oh my god, he did. Because as he's giving his speech, we see the city destroyed, people trapped under rubble, children crying, people literally laying dead in the streets because of Endeavor. Now, of course, you could certainly argue the League of Villains could have done all of this without Dabi, but he has been the linchpin, the deciding factor in so many fights that without him would have ended with the League being defeated, captured, arrested, something. So I actually feel comfortable saying that all of this, all the destruction, all this death, all this pain is because of Endeavor. And oh my freaking god, the shots. This kid, he's got the Endeavor action figure, 3 separate Endeavor posters, which I would just love to imagine Endeavor posing for posters. But anyway, he's a huge fan of Endeavor, but now he's seeing the truth. He's learning about the awful, terrible, inhumane, monstrous things that Endeavor has done. And that's it. Endeavor is no longer the world's #1 hero. Endeavor is probably not going to be allowed to be a hero moving forward. The entire world is going to hate him. They are going to despise him. They are going to spit at him when he walks down the street. Oh, I can't wait for that. And at that point, I will be all on board for Endeavor getting redeemed. That might seem like a weird thing to say, but I've wanted to like Endeavor for a while. Ever since the Nomu fight, I've wanted to like him. He is, he's trying so hard. He's pushing himself. He really has what it takes to be a likable character now, but I just could never get over his past. I could never get over the awful, terrible things he's done. He bought a woman and impregnated her multiple times. That's... No. Oh. But now that he's going to be truly hated, now that he's going to be truly despised, now that he's going through this pain of seeing his son come back and realizing that all of this is his fault, I truly, truly believe that he can be redeemed, that he can move past this. If he could just keep moving forward, even with the entire world hating him, then yeah, he's never going to become the #1 hero again, but he'll be a character that I can admire and respect, and I'm just so happy about that. And seriously, just props for Dabi finding the absolute perfect time to destroy the #1 hero, to essentially destroy hero society better than Shigaraki or All For One ever have. Also, I just gotta love Dabi's dancing here. It's true, utter madness. I mean, it's straight up Joker behavior, and I freaking love it. As he's monologuing about his whole life. His original plan was just to kill Shota, which, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Imagine if once Endeavor finally builds up Shota to be the perfect hero, the perfect vessel, the perfect, successor for him who will become the #1 hero. Dabi just comes in, murders him, and says, "Hi, Dad." Oh, that would have been great revenge. That would have been great revenge. But then when Endeavor became the #1 hero, when he took that spot, Dabi realized he can cause him so much more pain, so much more despair if he revealed himself. He revealed that all of this is his fault once he obtained the #1 hero spot, once he obtained everything he's ever wanted in his life. I love it. I absolutely freaking love it. Oh, also he reveals that he's the one that sent Star Servant an ending after Endeavor, which, makes a lot of sense. I always thought it was weird that Ending managed to find himself a quirk enhancer right after getting out of prison. And I went back and reread the chapter on Star Servant, which, by the way, that was 13 months ago that chapter came out. Wow, time flies, and this arc has been going on for a very long time. Anyway, as I was saying, Star Servant kept ranting and raving about how Endeavor would be the light that brings about the darkness. He was literally foreshadowing this moment. And at the time, I was wondering if maybe he had some sort of prophecy powers or some sort of connection to the Meta Liberation Army. No, he was straight up sent by Dabi, who probably filled him in on, everything that was going to happen moving forward. So interesting. And what's truly terrifying is that Dabi is well aware of what's been going on with Endeavor's family. It means he's been, directly spying on them, which, is a little funny given Endeavor's whole line of, watch me, when he became the #1 hero. Yeah, Dabi took that to heart. He's been definitely spying on you, given he knows that you're trying to, make amends with your children like that. Very, very creepy. And so we have the last page. The past never dies. Get it? You reap what you sow. So let's tango, you and me, Enji Todoroki, a dance with your son here in hell. Oh, I love Dabi. And I love him with white hair. It really makes him look more like a main villain kind of guy. So, yeah, a whole lot of questions about this chapter. First and foremost, what's going on with Natsu and Fuyumi, the other Todoroki siblings? How are they going to react to learning if their brother, Toya, is alive and is a serial killer? I actually have kind of mixed feelings about that. I mean, I feel on one end, they're going to blame Endeavor more for it. Toya even straight up said how he always cried to Natsu after all of his training with Endeavor, so they were certainly close, but at the same time, I feel like they might be more forgiving of Endeavor than the general public will be at this moment, because they went through basically the same thing they experienced themselves and they didn't become serial killers. I almost think they're going to accept that Toya made his own decisions to do this and it's not entirely Endeavor's fault. I mean, it does feel like where they'd come from simply because they've already started the process of forgiving him, and now I feel like it'd be weird to just, take a step backwards then being mad at him again. At least that's what I think. And, a lot of people are speculating that Endeavor's going to die here. I really don't think it's going to happen. I did my whole explanation on why I think it's going to happen for, He's going to be hated, he's going to be despised, he'll never be able to become the #1 hero again, and from there he can grow, but if he dies here, there's no real impact, just a bunch of people, spitting on his grave at his funeral, bad-mouthing him on the news. It doesn't have the same impact as him, literally needing to live through all of it. Also, in the very last panel, in the corner of the screen, we see a plane flying over, just about to reach them. I'm fairly certain that's a plane we saw 2-3 chapters ago, carrying who I assume to be Best Jeanist and maybe the Suicide Squad as well. If that's the case, that could be the backup they need not to die. So, yay! Also, Endeavor is not in all that great a shape right now. His one lung is basically dead, so every breath is incredibly painful for him. Shoto, on the other hand, is in perfect condition. He has done essentially nothing up to this point, and I don't really think he has all that many strong feelings for his brother. I mean, he was straight up said that Endeavor kept him separated from his other siblings, so I'm fairly certain that he didn't have all that much of a relationship with him before he faked his death. I mean, certainly he's shocked to find out that Dabi is his brother, but I don't think it's going to affect his ability to fight all that much. Also, I am definitely hoping for some flashbacks to explain, give a little more detail on what Dabi went through, what the process was like, when exactly did Endeavor give up on him. Because I'm fairly certain it was said that Toya died in a training accident with Endeavor, but he also said that Endeavor threw him away, so curious about that? Also, it definitely seems to be the case that Dabi has some sort of relationship with Hawks. I'm just not sure what it is. Could it be that after Dabi faked his death, he went to work for the government like Hawks did, part of their child soldier program, which, so many problems with that, but I don't know. Hopefully, if we do get flashbacks next chapter, Hawks will chime in to explain part of it, or he'll appear in the flashback somehow, some way. Also, I do just want to point out that it looks like Mrs. Todoroki, Dabi's mother, recognized him the instant he appeared on the TV. Even with his face covered, his hair dyed, it looks like she absolutely recognized him from the very instant she first saw him. Mother's love. Maybe it'll even be enough to convince him not to kill anyone anymore. I would actually love it if, at the end of the series, Dabi isn't killed, but he's captured. He goes to Tartarus, and then his mother visits him, every week, asking about his day and stuff like that. That would just be such an amazing shot, and I would love that. Anyway, beginning chapter with a very brief combat encounter between Shoto, Nejiro, and Shigaraki. It's interesting, this one line, I'm fairly certain this is all for one. He says, "They refuse to give our broken bodies slice reprieve." So definitely seems to imply that All For One's attempting to take control, that he views, Shigaraki's body as his own vessel, more or less, so interesting. Anyway, then Giganto shows up and basically destroys everything, and managed to get Shigaraki back. Which, bad, very bad. Though, on the bright side, Bakugo is still alive. Yay! Still trying to achieve that absolute victory, just such a Bakugo moment, Deku, he's never going to give up, never going to stop fighting until he saves the day. Bakugo, he's never going to give up, even when he's on the verge of death, until he's achieved absolute victory, until he's, defeated the bad guy. Especially now, because if they let Shigaraki go, he will only become more powerful, he will only become more familiar with his quirks and just more destructive. If they let him go, he will kill thousands, and there will be nothing left to stop him. Anyway, so now Giganto has Shigaraki in his hands, and I feel like they're going to want to, get out of there, go someplace, somehow, somewhere where Shigaraki can recover. It'd certainly be a little hard for a Giganto to manage to do that, but All For One does have some teleportation quirks, I imagine, so he could probably, just grab everyone around him and just teleport somewhere far away where they can heal and recover and all that. There's still the matter of the doctor. I would assume they'd want to grab him too. I'm not sure how they do that right now with everything else going on. Curious. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the chapter. As for next week, like I said, really can't imagine Endeavor actually fighting his son here. Shoto, on the other hand, he's in much better shape mentally and physically, so we could certainly hold him back until help arrives. Like I said, I definitely think that's best Genius in the helicopter. Maybe a whole Suicide Squad as well coming in to save the day, to at least put up enough of a fight where the villains decide to retreat for now, and just let the whole world settle in on the fact the number one hero has been essentially dethroned. His name has been dragged through the mud as much as physically possible, and the other, top 10 heroes are either dead or seriously injured. So even if they do nothing else at this point, they've still managed to land a critical blow on Hero Society. Oh, I love it. Also, I'm hoping we see Hawks next chapter, because I feel like he has part of the story. He knows something, some big secret that he just hasn't revealed yet. Curious about that. Though before I go, I just have to ask, was anyone really surprised by this twist? It feels like it's been laid on so thick before now. It's been theorized so much that's essentially been fan canon for a long time. I mean, do you think Horikoshi expected this twist to surprise people when he first thought it up years and years ago? Do you think he's like, oh wow, they'll be so shocked, they'll be so surprised, no one will see this coming? I don't know, I'm just curious about that. But yeah, please let me think about that and everything else in this chapter down below. Dabi is Endeavor's son. Finally confirmed. But yeah, so please like and subscribe, see you in my next video, and until then,
peace!